Hey guys, so we're just gonna go through a few different cues that I like to give people just to help level up their lunge, split squat, and then you can even transfer to different lower leg exercises such as your squat, deadlift, RDL, or kind of other lower leg exercise. Okay, so it can be also quite helpful for people dealing with knee pain, and then just get a little more strength development, activation around their quad, calves, hamstring, glute, and even their foot. Um, don't really like to call it like a stability exercise, not really a good term for it, but can be very good at just teaching you how to develop force and then do a little more co-contractions around the knee, foot, ankle, and even the hip. Okay, so quite often what we do see when people do a lunge is that they don't really bend their knee. You can also see that in people who do a really heavy squat. What you'll kind of see is they almost do like a good morning exercise, and then, yeah, you kind of do see that when people do their lunges as well. So the low of the bar, really, really heavy. And then when you do the squat, get onto the bottom position pretty comfortable. But once they come up, end up doing something like this, and then doing more like a good morning exercise. That's totally fine for lifting. If your goal is just to lift a really, really heavy weight for one rep, and you're just trying to lift that one rep or whatever heavy weight, okay? It's awesome. Yeah. But if what you're trying to do is develop more strength, especially around the knee, quad, you're gonna have to have a little more knee bend. Okay, so we'll kind of go through the lunge. So what you do tend to see when people do a lunge, they take a very large step, just like that, and then you just kind of go down and up, just like that. Pretty good just for getting a little bit of hamstring length, glute strength as well. But if you really want to level that up and get a little more co-contraction on the knee and apply more force and get more of the quad and a little more knee dominance as well, what you're going to want to do is you want to make sure you get your weight over your foot, and you want to really focus on pushing your foot down into the ground, right? You don't want to think about like, okay, need to push my knees out when I do a squat. All you're trying to do is just push down. Okay, so when what you're gonna do is just have your weight, make sure your weight is over your foot. If you want to make sure you are having weight over that and you are applying force, what you're gonna do is just take your foot off the ground, have a little bend in the knee, and then just make sure, right? This back foot is pretty much just gonna be there just for balance and just to make sure you don't really fall over when you're doing the exercise. Okay, yeah, so again, and what we're gonna try to do is have a little bit of a knee bend when we're doing exercise. So as we go down, get as much weight as we can over this leg. And when we come up into the ground, all we wanna think about is pushing into the ground either through our midfoot, right? So when we come up into the ground, we just come up. The other thing that's quite common that we do see with people either with knee pain or just not used to the split squat lunge or not really get as much quad in their squat is as they come down, looks fine, but when they come up, what we do tend to see is that their knee kind of just snaps back and then just kind of just arch to the back, or it's kind of just like use their back extension to get the way up, right? So what they do is they come up, knee comes back, so you have a straight leg. They can't really apply force into the ground anymore. So all they do is just extend to the back to come back up. So the other cue that we want to focus on is once we're at the bottom, you want to delay our knee extension. So as we push into the ground, you want to not let our knee snap back. We want to keep our knee pretty much just over our foot as we push into the ground. And as we push into the ground, kind of see how my knee just kind of stays a little bit over my foot. That way I can actually push in and get my weight over my foot. Again, what we do tend to see is when we do that, our center mass just comes backwards, and then we just kind of extend our back our way forward, right? So again, just go over the cues. Weight shifted over our foot, knee slightly bent, back foot is just there just for balance. And then what we're gonna try to do, get down, push as hard as we can through our midfoot, delay our knee extension, push hard as you can, and just kind of get our weight over, right? Usually what I like to tell people is try to bring their back foot a little bit closer, but you do need just to get a little bit more stability. You can bring it a little bit further back and have a little more weight on that back foot. So front squat or back squat, same kind of rule applies. When we go down into our squat, we want to make sure we're pushing through our foot, get as much weight as we can over our midfoot. And then as we come up, kind of delay our knee extension. That way we don't snap back. And then it's kind of like a good morning exercise. Okay, so those can be just very good ways to just level up our lunge, get more out of our quad, knee strength, build more co-contractions around the knee, and just learn how to apply force a little bit more effectively through our lower body. Last little bit, if you do want to get a little bit more foot, ankle, co-contractions and get a little more stability and force through there, what you can do is you can do a little bit of a heel elevated split squat lunge, a little variation. So same principle applies with the split squat. Get as much weight as we can over our foot, over our midfoot, get a little bend in the knee. What we want to do is get enough space between our heel and the ground where like a credit card or 1 or 2 fingers can slide underneath our heel. And we're pretty much just trying to keep that space there as we go into a split squat and as we come back up. So from there, again, same thing, pushing as hard as we can into the ground, keeping your heel slightly off the ground. Don't let our knee snap back and pushing through, right? You will feel it's a little bit harder, especially around the ankle and foot complex. And you will have to get a little more, you will have to build a lot more co-contractions around the knee as well. Okay, so give those a go. You should feel it's quite harder, especially around the quad. You'll feel it more on the quads, especially if you're following those during the squat and front squat.